Do you think the Lions would be willing to part ways with a player? Alex Anzalone's on the last year of a contract. Amik Robertson as well. Good players, but potentially could be viewed as assets as well. And it's not a bad thing. You look at it, these players as assets that potentially you could use to potentially bolster the roster. And it would be a hit if you were to move on from Alex or Amik, but you could also say Hendon Hooker could be a player maybe with the Saints if they feel like, hey, we want to take a chance on a developing quarterback based on the fact that Derek Carr is no longer there. Would you be willing to part ways with any single player to say, hey, if a team like the Saints or a team above the Lions says, hey, we want a player as well to move up in the draft? If you want the asset, then you got to give up a player. Is there a player that you would say, okay, if they ask for it, that you would say, okay, absolutely not, that's on the last year of a contract?
I think when you look at that conversation, I think Hendon Hooker's the easy answer, right? Because teams have needs at quarterbacks. He's kind of an unproven commodity with a lot of upside, I think, to go in there and at least compete for a starting job elsewhere. And when you look at the long-term future of the Lions and Jared Goff just now beginning the first of a 4-year contract extension that's going to pay him a ton of money, you start to think that the future for Hendon may not be in Detroit, especially when he's got this year and then one more on his rookie deal. So, yeah, I mean, if somebody calls and wants Hendon Hooker as part of a package to move up, then that's a decision the Lions are going to have to make. I don't think they trade Alex Anzalone or Amik Robertson just because of that such a big emphasis on culture in that organization, and I don't see the Lions making moves like that involve Alex Anzalone, who's been a defensive captain, or Amik Robertson, who fit in so seamlessly with the Lions organization, and as a result has kind of become, I wouldn't say like one of the foundational pieces, but he's somebody who fits really well. And it's clear he is well liked in the locker room and by the coaching staff. So, yeah, I think Hendon Hooker is the easy answer, and maybe somebody else that's kind of on the fringes. Like there's some offensive line value with the back end of that offensive line, guys like Colby Sorsdal, if he ever figures it out, and you start to look at kind of the margins of the roster, and you're not going to be able to keep everybody. So there are certainly trade candidates on the roster. I'm just not so certain that it happens. Although if it were, I think Hendon Hooker's at the top of that list.